In the land of Canaan, where dreams are rare and jealousy runs deep, lived a young man named Joseph, Jacob's beloved son, born with a destiny too great to be hidden, even by betrayal. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, for he was the child of his old age, and to show that love, he gave him a coat of many colors, a symbol of favor that planted seeds of envy in the hearts of his brothers.
Brothers whispering and frowning, their eyes fixed on Joseph. And from that moment, they hated him, not just for the coat, but for the dreams he dared to speak. I had a dream. We were binding sheaves in the field, and my sheaf stood upright while yours gathered around and bowed. Brothers sarcastic and angry. So, you think you'll reign over us? Rule us? Keep dreaming, little prince. The dreams kept coming, stars, sun and moon bowing before him. But dreams can stir storms, and his words became the final crack in their brotherhood. One day, as Joseph walked alone into the fields, his brothers saw him from afar, and hate gave birth to a wicked thought. Brother, whispering, "Here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But Reuben, the eldest, persuaded them not to kill him. Instead, they cast him into a pit empty, dark, hopeless, just like their hearts. Joseph's voice echoes from the pit. "Please, don't do this." And when a caravan of Ishmaelites came passing by, Judah spoke, "What profit is it if we kill him? Let's sell him." And so, for 20 pieces of silver, they sold their brother like a stranger. Joseph is tied and led away by strangers. His eyes are filled with tears. He looks back at his brothers who turn away. Down into Egypt he went, sold again into the house of Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard. Yet the Lord was with Joseph, and even in chains, favor began to grow. Though far from home, Joseph's hands were blessed. Whatever he touched prospered. And Potiphar saw it that the Lord's favor rested on this Hebrew slave. Potiphar places keys in Joseph's hands, trusting him with his household. Joseph was soon made overseer over all that Potiphar had. But with favor came new danger. Potiphar's wife whispers, "Lie with me." Joseph steps back, shocked. Joseph, firmly, "How can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Day after day she tempted him, but Joseph stood firm, choosing righteousness over pleasure. Until one day, she grabbed his cloak, and he fled. She screams falsely, "Servants, run in!" Potiphar believed the lie. Without trial or question, Joseph was cast into prison. His reward for purity was a prison cell. But light breaks through a small window. Joseph lifts his head. But even there, the Lord was with him. Even there, Joseph rose again. The keeper of the prison gave him charge over all the inmates. Wherever Joseph was, light followed. One night, 2 meant the king's butler and baker dreamed strange dreams. And in the morning, their faces were troubled. Joseph, gently, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." 3 days later, just as Joseph said, it happened. The baker was hanged, the butler restored. And Joseph's only request? "Joseph," softly, "remember me when it is well with you." But the butler forgot. 2 full years passed, and Joseph waited, alone. Then one night, Pharaoh dreamed, and no magician could explain it. That's when the butler remembered, the Hebrew in the prison. "I've heard you can interpret dreams." Boldly, "It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. The dreams are one. 7 years of plenty will come, followed by 7 years of famine. Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man to prepare the land. Pharaoh and his advisors nod in awe. Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And in a moment, the prisoner became prince, second only to Pharaoh. From pit to palace, Joseph's dream was alive again. For 7 years, Egypt flourished. Joseph built storehouses, saved grain, and prepared, and then the famine came, just as he had said. Now, dry winds blow, crops wither. People cry out, Egypt alone has food. And all nations came to Egypt, and among them came faces from Joseph's past. The dream of his youth came alive. His brothers bowed, just as God had shown, but Joseph said nothing, not yet. Joseph turns away, emotional. He tests them, speaks through an interpreter. Joseph, disguised voice, you are spies. He needed to see their hearts. Were they changed, or still the same? He held Simeon as surety, but the greatest test was yet to come. The famine touched Canaan, and Jacob, though afraid, finally sent Benjamin, last son of Rachel. The only brother Joseph had left through her. Joseph's heart broke within him. He saw his brother, and he longed to embrace them all. But one final test remained. He created a moment to test their loyalty. Would they abandon Benjamin as they once abandoned him? Joseph's heart could hold back no longer. These were not the same brothers who once sold him. Joseph, crying, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? The brothers fall to the floor, trembling in fear. The one they betrayed now held their fate. But Joseph's heart was not full of revenge. It was full of mercy. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Through pain and betrayal, God was weaving redemption. Joseph chose forgiveness, and in doing so, became truly great. Pharaoh welcomed Joseph's family into Egypt, and after decades of sorrow, father and son would meet again. Now I can die in peace, for I have seen your face again. He who was thought lost was found, and the house of Israel found shelter in the land of Egypt. Fear not, I will nourish you and your children. Joseph never sought revenge. He remembered God's hand in every chapter, even the darkest. Joseph died in Egypt, but he made his people promise to carry his bones back to the promised land. His faith endured beyond the grave. From pit to palace, from betrayal to blessing, Joseph's story reminds us God is always working, even when we cannot see it. And in the end, His plans are always greater than our pain.